Hey everyone, I want to take a few minutes and share with you some more about what I started talking about on Sunday, which is the topic of focus. I used to play basketball in high school. I loved playing basketball. I played a lot of it. When I played competitively for my high school, I learned a lot about focus. When you are dribbling, when you're about to shoot, and I love to shoot, it changed a lot when I started having people in my face defending me. It's different than when you're by yourself shooting in your backyard. But when I was playing competitively, you've got a defender in your face. Often you've got hands in your face. You've got a body right in front of you. And I learned that if I did not stay absolutely focused on that rim, I'd miss the shot. But if I did stay focused on that rim, even with the defender's hand in my face, sometimes even obstructing some view, I could still make the shot. Focus was the essential part of that, and not being distracted by what was in front of me or what was trying to prevent me from scoring. It's the same with runners. I'm not a runner, but for runners who are running races, they need to stay focused on the finish line. They need to keep their mind set on the goal. They need to stay in their lane, not be distracted by people, even the good things, people cheering, not be distracted by other runners, not be distracted by anyone on the sideline. They need to stay focused on the goal, on where they're headed, on the end that is in sight. You know, it says of Jesus in Hebrews 12, it says, "Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and the perfecter of faith, who for the joy before him he endured, and he despised the shame and sat down at the hand of God." Jesus had to stay focused to get through his race, to do what he was called to do. He had to stay focused. And the invitation in this passage is that if we will fix our eyes on him, the one who did it, we will endure. We will make it. We will not be distracted. We'll stay full of him and what he has if we'll stay focused on him. When I daily focus on Jesus, reset often, daily reset on him. There's so many things coming against my mind. There's so many things coming against our hearts. There's so many things coming in the airways and other words. But if we will get recentered and refocused on the person of Jesus, the love of our soul, the one we're following, and we will endure. We will get through, and we're going to get through with joy. We're going to get through victoriously, triumphantly, because of what he has done. Jesus said this. He said, "The eye is the lamp of the body. So then if your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light." Not just what you're looking at, but your whole body will be full of light, head to toe, if our eye is clear looking at him. But if our eye is bad, our whole body will be full of darkness. If we're looking at the wrong thing, we'll be filled with that thing, or whatever that thing represents, whether it's fear, anxiety, shame, whatever it is. Whatever we're looking at, it's going to fill us. But if we're looking at Jesus, we will be full of him, full of his light from head to toe. There'll be no place for fear. It's so important. Jesus is inviting us to fix our eyes daily on him. And it's not just one time daily. Sometimes for me, it's several times through the day. Just having a reset, a refocus on him, following him. You know, if we were disciples following Jesus, you can't just glance at him once, start following. You got to make sure your eyes are on him, because wherever he's going, I want to be going. So there's a constant refocusing on him throughout the day to make sure that we're following him. One of my favorite characters in the scriptures is Peter. Peter was this courageous guy. Yeah, he made mistakes, but man, he did stuff no one else did too. I love this guy. I love his faith. I love his courage, his fearlessness. You know, the moment when he stepped out on the boat, he asked Jesus if he could walk on the water too, because Jesus was walking on the water. And then he did. He's the only other person that walked on the water other than Jesus. And as he was looking at Jesus, moving toward him, he was doing great. And we all know the story. But then as he got distracted from the rim, as he got distracted from Jesus, and started looking at these huge waves, at the wind blowing, at the storm. And then he probably started to, the question, whether it came from the enemy or his own mind, like, what am I doing here? I can't do this. And he started to sink. As he looked at the waves, fear gripped him, and that started to fill him. His eye got unclear. Instead of being clear, which it was for a moment, it got bad. In other words, the darkness started to go into his soul, and he started to sink. And as he began to sink, he cried out and got his eyes refocused on Jesus. Jesus pulled him out. But that's the same for you and I every single day. There are storms around us. There are winds around us. One of the winds we've got right now, this COVID-19, yeah, it's nasty. Yes, it's hurting people. It's real. But you know what? Our job is to not be distracted by that thing. Yes, pray against it. Yes, do our part, wash our hands, live the right way, live healthy, and rebuke the thing, pray for other people to be protected. But more than all that, you and I need to keep our eyes on Jesus. Do not be distracted by this thing. It might stick its hand in your face and try and get you to look its way. Be fearful to just pay attention all day long to what it's doing around the world. Don't do it. I want to encourage every person to limit the amount of news and reports and news feeds and words and conversation that everyone has about this thing. It's a distraction. It's a distraction from what we're supposed to be doing right now. And focusing on Jesus, helping others, praying for others, staying full of faith and courage and joy. That's what we're called to do. Don't let this thing distract you. How do we keep our eyes on Jesus? Well, for me, it is often going back to him. It's in the morning, starting off that way, looking at him. And sometimes it's during the day several times, just taking a moment, rethinking about him. Especially if anxiety starts to lurk or grow inside your heart, that's a moment instantly to turn away from it and refocus on Jesus. And then focus on him before you go to sleep at night. Before you shut your eyes, refocus on him in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, whenever we can, to just refocus on him. Keep our eyes fixed on him. Fixed on him. That's the wording in Hebrews that we need to do. So here's your action today. I want to encourage you to stare at Jesus. Stare at him. Fix your eyes on him and stare at him. Here's what that may look like, at least for me. It's I imagine him, I think about him, and then I start thinking about things like this. Oh, he's so wonderful. He's so strong. He's powerful. He's near to me. He's close by. He has conquered death, hell, and the grave. His blood is powerful that was shed for me. He loves me so much that he came for me. He's living inside of me right now. I'm never alone. He's right here right now. I'm thinking about him and the words that he said and the way that he loved people. Take 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, just to think about him, to stare at him. And what we stare at fills us. Our body will be full of light from head to toe. The day changes, the moment changes. Fear runs and flees when we're focused on him and full of light. I encourage you to do that today. Have a great day, a great evening, a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you soon. Lord bless.